How is it going, everyone? It's K-Lumid here, and today we are going to be talking about a video game on the Game Boy Advance, a video game that I actually was kind of hoping would be good, and unfortunately I was let down pretty hard. Today we're going to be talking about Herbie Fully Loaded on the Game Boy Advance. If you don't know what Herbie Fully Loaded is, it is actually a movie that came out on Disney Channel in the 2000s, and I remember when it came out, I remember watching it quite a few times. I really liked it when I was a kid. And it starred Lindsay Lohan, and it had Michael Keaton in it, which is really weird, frankly. But I remember it was a fun little car movie, so I thought maybe the Game Boy Advance game would be fun. I saw some gameplay of it. I saw that it was a 3D racing game, and I always try to pick up racing games that are 3D on the Game Boy Advance because I just think it's really cool that the Game Boy Advance can even do 3D games at all. So that got me excited, and I was just like, you know what? This game, it doesn't have to do a whole lot to be a good Kirby game. All it has to really do is put me in a city and just let me do some fun little missions. Let me do some time trials even. Let me just have a bunch of mix of different stuff going on, a bunch of different types of races and stuff, and it can be a good game, even if it's just Herbie, which I fully expected the game to be just Herbie. If it just has enough variety, it could actually be a good game. However, this game has hardly any variety. So, first of all, this game is all about Herbie, the car Herbie, the little Volkswagen Beetle. That is the only car in this game. That's the only car you can race as, and I fully expected that going into it. I kind of figured that would be the case. But the biggest problem with this game is that we'll go mode by mode, but each mode has the same problem. It's just really boring races on really boring tracks. You start off with the story mode. In the story mode, you have 8 tracks total to race through, and you can finish the story mode in less than 30 minutes. It's not very fun. The tracks are not very well designed. The car doesn't handle very well, and it feels like it feels like Herbie's just not made to handle these corners like he's supposed to. So it just feels like you can never get the car to turn tight enough, and that's obviously a really bad thing for a racing game. So you have those issues, but then you also have the issue that the game's just... It's just not fun. It's just not a really fun racing game. And sure, fun is subjective, but they didn't do much in terms of the design of this game. I mean, the fact that you have a story mode and there's just regular races and that's it, and the cutscenes, there's not cutscenes per se, but in between the races you get like a picture from the movie, and the story that they're giving you is literally just Lindsay Lohan being like, "Come on, Herbie, let's race." And then when you win the race, it's just like, "I knew you could do it." And that's literally story mode. It's just like, again, I don't expect great things from the story mode. It doesn't even really need a story mode. You know, it's a racing game. I don't really need that. But the problem is that if you're going to present it as a story mode, it should probably have a story. You also have the whole issue of just, again, no variety at all. It's just the races. It's only just plain old races in the story mode. And they're just the most boring tracks possible. I mean, if the tracks were more exciting, you could at least get by with it, but all the tracks are just really boring. They don't have anything that make them stand out. There's nothing about them that feels special. So they just end up being really, really boring instead. Then after that, you have the single races, which are exactly what you would expect them to be. You can pick the races that you unlock through the story mode, and you can race on them one at a time if you want to do that. And this way you can also pick the difficulty. And the difficulty does change quite a bit when you swap from easy to hard to extreme. For some reason there's no normal difficulty. I didn't understand that either. Why would you not have a normal difficulty? But whatever. It does change quite a bit. The computer drivers definitely get more difficult. And for some reason it adds more laps. So usually a race would only have 3 laps, but for some reasons when you pick hard mode it adds 4, and when you pick extreme it adds 5. I guess they just wanted you to be bored for a little bit longer during a race. That's the only thing I can really assume on that one. And then you have the actual championship mode. And championship mode is basically just the courses, again, from story mode, in order. And you get points like you would in the Grand Prix mode in any other racing game. Except, if you lose, it just ends the championship mode and you lose the entire thing. It's just like, okay, whatever, I guess. Again, just nonsensical decisions. Like, you have 8 courses here. Separate them into 4 and have 2 Grand Prix modes, and don't don't just end the Grand Prix if you lose. Like, keep the Grand Prix going. You have a point system. What's the point of a point system if I win 5 races in a row and then I lose one? I should have enough points to make up for the one I lost. So why would you just end the race? That is the craziest thing I've ever seen done in a racing game. I don't think I've ever seen another racing game do that. That was crazy when I saw that, but whatever. It is what it is, I guess. But this is just a really odd game with really odd decisions, and honestly, they didn't have to do much for it to be a good game. They could have just added just a little bit more personality to this, and I think it would have at least been decent. But this game just has no personality. This game is basically cardboard. It has nothing to it, and that's really unfortunate. The graphics at least look pretty decent. I'll give the game that. The graphics of the actual car, the main car, Herbie, look good. The cars around Herbie look pretty terrible, but Herbie at least looks pretty good. They did a good job designing him, and so I like that, and I like that there's power-ups on the course. That's kind of cool, you know. Even though it's a regular racing game, you can pick up some power-ups. You see these little stars on the course, and yellow stars will turn your car backwards, and you'll be driving in reverse, but you'll get a speed boost for doing it. And then you can pick up these red stars, and they will allow you to open up Herbie's hood, and he can throw a tire at a car in front of him and cause them to spin out. There's also oil slicks on the course, so there's more hazards for the other cars to slip on and stuff like that. You can also pick up I think it's a green star that allows you to jump, and you can actually get a little bit of a jump, and it will also give you a boost. And then there's another blue star that will let you do a wheelie, and you can do a wheelie and get a boost. So, I mean, it's cool that they have those little power-ups. That's a neat idea. They just needed more stuff like that, because this game, if they just will put in a little bit more effort into just making these courses be more entertaining, just have some more personality, this game could have at least been decent. But unfortunately, with no personality and just a really, really just low amount of content to be had in this game. I mean, you can literally play through story mode in half an hour. This is not a game I can recommend picking up. This game, I picked it up for $5, and honestly, even for $5, I don't recommend it. This is not a very good video game at all. This is a game that I think, honestly, is better left in the past. It's better left, if you have nostalgia for it, it's honestly probably better left in your memory, okay? So maybe leave it there. But that's unfortunate. I was excited to play this game. It just is not very good. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe button down below. Hopefully, the next Game Boy Advance game we talk about will be a good one, so I can make up for this one. I'll talk to you in the next one. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.